Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Brawl Stars, and if you've been around this game for a while, you already know how fast the meta can change. One update drops and suddenly your favorite brawler goes from unstoppable to barely playable. And if you're just getting started, it can feel overwhelming trying to figure out which brawlers are actually worth your time. Don't worry, we've got you covered. In this video, we're breaking down the ultimate brawler tier list, so you know exactly who's running the show right now. Some characters might look fun at first, but when it comes down to pushing trophies or dominating in different modes, not all brawlers are created equal. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know which picks are strong, which ones are situational, and which ones you might want to avoid for now. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking characters in Brawl Stars. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Shelly, Nita, Bull, Rosa, Daryl, Carl, Jackie, and Frank. You know that moment when you open a tier list and see a character you actually love sitting way down in C tier? Yeah, it hurts. But hey, being in C tier does not mean these brawlers are useless. It just means they shine in very specific situations instead of dominating the entire game. Let's talk about them one by one, because trust me, there are still some clutch plays hiding in here. First up, Shelly. Everyone's first brawler, and honestly, she is like that childhood friend you cannot fully let go of. At close range, Shelly can absolutely delete people. Her gadgets and star powers give her that extra bit of survivability, and with her super ability, she can blast opponents hiding behind cover. The problem? If you are not in someone's face, you are basically tickling them. Still, there is a reason you see so many Shellys camping in bushes. It actually works sometimes. Now Nita, on paper she looks simple. She throws shockwaves and calls out her big angry bear. But do not underestimate how annoying that bear can be. With the right star powers, both Nita and her furry buddy become stronger, and her reload speed is impressively fast. If you are the type of player who enjoys sending a mini tank straight at your enemies while you sit back and poke, Nita is your girl. Moving on to Rosa. She is basically the Hulk of Brawl Stars, except she loves gardening. Her attacks pierce through enemies, so lineups of opponents are her favorite target. And when she activates her super skill, her defense skyrockets. Plus, with the plant life star power, Rosa heals when standing in bushes. So if you ever see her vanish into some greenery, do not chase her unless you want to get turned into fertilizer. Next up is Daryl, the adorable rolling shotgun barrel of doom. This guy specializes in close combat and has incredible mobility. His super ability lets him roll right into enemies, hitting them multiple times in the process, and the best part is that his super recharges automatically over time. That means you always have the threat of a barrel rolling toward you, like some nightmare version of Donkey Kong. Carl is a bit different. He throws his pickaxe, and because it comes back, he can hit enemies multiple times in one throw. That makes him surprisingly good at chipping away from a distance. His super skill speeds him up while he spins around like a Beyblade, dealing damage to anyone unlucky enough to be nearby. He may not always feel powerful, but a good Carl can keep you at arm's length forever. And then we have Frank. This guy is basically the tankiest of the tanks. His health pool is massive, and his attacks actually reach a decent mid-range, which makes him scary if you let him get close. His super is even scarier. He smashes the ground, stuns enemies, and destroys walls. The catch? Every time Frank attacks, he pauses for a moment, which sometimes makes you feel like you are swinging a giant hammer underwater. Bull is kind of like Shelly's angry cousin. If he gets close enough, he can instantly delete an opponent. His super lets him charge forward, breaking obstacles and dealing damage in the process. Combine that with his gadgets and star powers that extend his life, and you have got a brawler who loves nothing more than diving straight into chaos. Just do not expect him to do much from a distance. Finally, Jackie. She is basically the construction worker who decided, why use tools when I can just smash the ground? Her attack hits enemies through walls as long as they are within range. Her super drags opponents toward her, which is terrifying when you are low on health. Add in her gadget and star powers, and she becomes way more dangerous than you would think. If you hear that drill sound, you better start running. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Colt, Dynamite, El Primo, Barley, 8-Bit, Bibi, Bia, and Nani. You know what is funny about B tier? These are the brawlers that make you go, oh, they are not broken, but I still do not want to face them in the wrong situation. They are reliable, powerful in the right hands, and just a little underrated. Let's break down who is holding it down in B tier. Starting with Colt. This guy is basically the wild cowboy of long-range chaos. If you can land his shots, Colt will melt your health bar in seconds. His super ability not only pierces enemies but also destroys walls, which opens up the map and makes hiding spots useless. Add in his gadgets and star powers that crank up his offensive abilities, and suddenly, you have got a laser-shooting machine gun in cowboy boots. Next up is Dynamite, the demolition expert. He is that guy who says, what if explosions could solve all my problems? His damage output is huge, and he can toss his dynamite over walls to hit enemies hiding behind cover. His super is basically a giant goodbye button for obstacles and opponents alike. Fun fact, among all thrower brawlers, Dynamite has the fastest movement speed, so yes, he is speedy with the bombs. Now let us talk about El Primo, the Lucha Libre superstar. This man literally body slams people for a living. His super lets him jump across the map, either to dive straight into a fight or to escape when things get messy. All of his gadgets and star powers are useful, which means he always has a trick up his sleeve. If you like being in the center of chaos, El Primo is your guy. Then we have Barley, the bartender who throws bottles instead of serving drinks. His attacks deal damage over time, which is great for controlling zones and forcing enemies out of cover. Since his attacks can go over walls, you are never really safe from him. And thanks to his gadgets and star powers, he can heal himself while continuing to be an absolute annoyance. Nothing says cheers quite like a poison bottle in the face. Let us move on to 8-Bit, the arcade cabinet that decided to become a brawler. He deals heavy damage on his own, but the real magic happens when he drops his super ability. It boosts the attack damage of all teammates standing inside its radius. That turns your whole team into a death squad. He is slow, yes, but his gadgets and star powers help him survive longer, making him surprisingly hard to shut down. Now Bibi. She is basically the baseball queen of Brawl Stars. Her bat hits hard, and when her home run bar is charged, she can knock enemies back like they just got hit with a fastball. Her super skill sends out a bouncing bubble that ricochets off walls, hitting enemies multiple times if you are lucky. Combine that with the wide range of her normal attack, and you get a mix of power and style that feels oh so satisfying. B is the sharpshooter who always keeps you on edge. Hit once with her first attack, and suddenly her next shot becomes a charged laser that deals insane damage. Her super fires a swarm of robotic bees that slow down enemies caught in the arc, which is perfect for stopping aggressive opponents. On top of that, her gadgets are all practical and effective, making Bae both deadly and annoying to deal with. Finally, Nani. She is the long-range sniper who hits like a truck. Her normal attack already deals massive damage, but her super ability is the real highlight. She sends out a remote-controlled explosive that can instantly delete low-health enemies, even from across the map. The downside is that her shots and super are tricky to land, but if you master her aim, she becomes one of the scariest brawlers on the battlefield. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Jesse, Rico, Bo, Tick, Ems, Penny, Piper, Pam, Edgar, Tara, Mr. P, Spike, Amber, Colette, Surge, Stu, Buzz, and Lola. You know you are in a tier when people groan the second they see you on the enemy team. These are the brawlers that are not quite broken enough for S tier, but they are consistently strong, reliable, and can swing a match if you play them right. Let's dive into the lineup. First up is Jessie. Do not underestimate her bouncing bullets. Hitting one opponent can mean zapping 2 or even 3 in a row. And then there is her turret, which basically acts like an extra teammate. With her star power making that turret even stronger, Jessie can completely lock down an area. Annoying? Absolutely. Effective? Even more so. Then we have Rico. He is basically the definition of bank shot specialist. His bullets bounce off walls, which means fighting him near cover is like stepping into a ricochet nightmare. Add on his piercing super that also bounces, and suddenly Rico is turning tight maps into pinball machines. His damage is no joke, and a good Rico player will make you feel like you are dodging bullets from every direction. Now let's talk about Bo, the bow and arrow master. His normal attack hits hard, but the real danger comes from his invisible mines. Place them smartly, and you can force enemies into awkward spots or blow them sky high when they least expect it. His star powers make him even stronger, giving him a serious edge in control-heavy game modes. Next up is Tick, everyone's least favorite love-hate relationship. On one hand, he deals incredible damage from afar and floods the map with explosives. On the other, he is one of the squishiest brawlers in the game. His mines stay on the ground longer, making area denial his specialty, and his super sends a giant head that literally hunts people down. Annoying? Yes. Effective? Also yes. MZ is basically the queen of stay away from me. Her normal attack sprays damage over time, which is perfect for dealing with groups. Combine that with her super, that slows and damages everyone in its radius, and suddenly enemies feel like they are running in glue while taking hits. Wide range plus crowd control equals one very strong brawler. Penny brings her cannon to the fight, and it is like having a tiny artillery strike on your team. The cannon automatically targets enemies in range, letting Penny focus on lining up her own shots. And if opponents line up in front of her, her attack pierces and deals damage to multiple enemies. Her gadgets are especially handy, turning her from just a nuisance into, oh no, not Penny again. Piper is the ultimate sniper. If you are at long range, she will chunk your health bar like it is nothing. And if you try to rush her, well, her super lets her hop away while dropping grenades, which usually ruins your plan instantly. She is also one of the best brawlers to pick in Bounty, where long-range precision and high damage shine brightest. Now we have Pam, the team mom of Brawl Stars. Her widespread attack lets her hit multiple enemies at once, and she has the health pool to take some punishment. But the real MVP is her healing turret, which keeps her and her allies alive in clutch fights. Pam is the definition of a support tank, always in the thick of it and always helping the team stay strong. Edgar is the fast, edgy assassin of the bunch. His reloading speed is ridiculously quick, and every attack he lands heals him back up. His super charges automatically, which means he is always building toward his next leap into combat. Add in his high damage, and Edgar becomes the perfect jump in, shred someone, and escape type of fighter. Tara is another A-tier monster, thanks to her piercing cards that deal damage to multiple enemies in one shot. But her real game changer is her super. It pulls enemies together, leaving them helpless. Combine that with her star powers that summon either a healer or an attacker, and Tara turns into a one-woman army that controls the entire pace of a fight. Mr. P, the grumpy penguin boss, is a nightmare on maps with cover. His suitcase attack can hit behind walls, forcing enemies out of hiding. And his super? It spawns little robo-penguins that endlessly harass enemies until destroyed. If his attack connects directly, it even deals splash damage. In short, Mr. P is the definition of slow, steady pressure that makes enemies lose their minds. Now Spike, do not let his tiny cactus body fool you. He is a damage powerhouse. His normal attack explodes into spikes on impact, hitting enemies even if they are spread out. His super slows enemies while dealing damage over time, which is brutal in clutch moments. Long range, high damage, and crowd control all rolled into one adorable cactus. Amber is the flamethrower queen. Her normal attack is a steady stream of fire that pierces through enemies, making her terrifying in narrow maps. On top of that, her super spreads fuel on the ground that she can ignite, creating massive zones of burning damage over time. Long range plus continuous damage makes Amber one of the scariest brawlers to face head-on. Then there is Colette, who flips the rules of Brawl Stars combat. Instead of flat damage, she deals more based on the enemy's health, making her the ultimate tank shredder. Her super not only damages but also grants her a shield if you are using her mass tax star power. With her higher than average health, Colette is the definition of a specialist brawler, devastating when facing beefy opponents. Surge is all about leveling up mid-match. His attacks deal strong damage and can hit multiple targets, but his super is the real star. Each time he uses it, Surge upgrades himself with buffs like more range or faster movement. He is especially dangerous in team fights and battle royale modes, where scaling up turns him from good to unstoppable. Stu is pure chaos energy. His attacks deal solid damage, but the real trick is his super. It recharges so quickly that he can practically dash nonstop around the map. That makes him incredibly hard to pin down. Add in gadgets and star powers that give him even more utility. and Stu becomes a speed demon that terrorizes enemies everywhere. Finally, Buzz. This lifeguard has no chill. His super lets him grapple straight to enemies, stunning them and setting up massive damage combos. Better yet, his super charges automatically when enemies are nearby, which means he is constantly a threat. Combine that with his wide-range swings and high damage, and you have got yourself a very scary close-range fighter. And last but not least, Lola. She is a diva with actual clone powers. Her super creates a double that mirrors her attacks, effectively letting her double her damage output. With a wide-range attack and fast-charging super, she can control crowds and overwhelm enemies in seconds. If you thought one Lola was bad enough, try dealing with two at the same time. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Poco, Lou, Brock, Mortis, Jean, Max, Sandy, Gale, Colonel Ruffs, Belle, Griff, Ash, and Meg. S tier is where the real nightmares live. These are the brawlers that make you question your life choices the moment they appear on the enemy team. They dominate, they control, and they carry games almost single-handedly. Buckle up, because this lineup is stacked. Let's start with Meg. On her own, she looks like a normal long-range fighter with fast movement speed. But give her a super, and suddenly she is piloting a giant mecha that feels like a walking tank. What makes her even scarier is that she charges her super ridiculously fast in both forms. Basically, you are fighting two characters in one, and both of them are a problem. Colonel Ruffs is up next. Do not let the fact that he is a support brawler fool you. His damage output is way higher than you would expect. His normal attack has long range and bounces off walls, letting him chip away at enemies safely. And when he drops his super, it literally powers up all his allies. Fighting against a Ruffs means fighting against a permanently buffed enemy team, and nobody wants that. Now, Ash. For a heavyweight brawler, he has surprisingly good range, which already makes him unique. But here is where it gets spicy: his rage mechanic. The angrier he gets, the faster and harder he hits, turning him into a bulldozer. His super sends out little minions that damage enemies and protect him, making Ash a tank that just gets scarier the longer the fight goes on. Griff is the money man of destruction. His normal attack sprays out coins in a wide pattern, shredding opponents at range. And then his super? He tosses banknotes that pierce through enemies. And here's the kicker: they come back to him and deal damage again on the way back. That is basically a 2-for-1 deal on pain. Griff is proof that greed does pay off, at least in Brawl Stars. Then we have Poco, the healer that never quits. His normal attack pierces through enemies, letting him hit multiple opponents in one shot. But what makes him truly top tier is his healing. His super can provide huge heals to his entire team, turning hopeless fights into clutch comebacks. With the right gadget and star power, Poco becomes less of a musician and more of a full-blown medic. Lou slides into S tier with style. His normal attack slows and freezes enemies over time, which is already brutal. His super turns the ground into a slippery mess, making enemies stumble around while taking damage. He is often considered the best support brawler in the game, and honestly, fighting him feels like you are playing on ice with broken shoes. Now for Brock, the Rocket Man himself. He has insanely long range and hits like a truck. His super rains down missiles that destroy obstacles and wipe out groups of enemies. And with his star powers boosting his rockets even further, Brock becomes a terrifying artillery unit that can control the map from anywhere. If you are standing still for more than 2 seconds, Brock will make you regret it. Mortis, the king of mobility, is next. Nobody zips around the map like him. His dashes let him dive in and out of fights, and his super not only damages multiple enemies, but also heals him in the process. Give him the right star power, and his mobility and damage get even better. Mortis is flashy, stylish, and lethal. If you can master him, you can carry almost any match. Jean is a master of disruption. His normal attack can damage multiple enemies if it does not hit one directly, which makes him great for spreading pressure. But his real weapon is the super. It pulls an enemy straight to him, even through walls. That one grab can completely change the momentum of a fight, especially if you yank the enemy team's star player into your squad's waiting arms. Max is basically speed personified. She has more attacks in her clip than any other brawler, giving her consistently high damage output. But her super is what makes her invaluable. It gives all nearby allies a huge movement speed boost. Suddenly, your entire team is zooming across the map, dodging everything and closing gaps in seconds. Max is not just strong, she makes her whole team strong. Sandy brings the storm, literally. His normal attacks pierce through enemies, and he has great movement speed and health to survive in the front line. His super summons a sandstorm that hides all allies inside, turning them invisible for sneak attacks. With his star powers, that storm can also heal allies or damage enemies, making Sandy an absolute team-carrying menace. Gale might look like a kind old man, but do not let that fool you. His damage is surprisingly high for a support brawler, and his super is fantastic for control. It passes through obstacles and knocks foes back, disrupting enemy formations completely. Gale really shines in duo battle royale and team modes, where his utility can flip the fight in your favor instantly. And last but absolutely not least, Belle. She is the sharpshooter queen of punishment. Her normal attack deals high damage and can bounce between enemies if they are close together. Her super tags an enemy, making them take extra damage from every source afterward, which is basically a death sentence. Add in her useful gadget and star power, and Belle becomes one of the scariest brawlers to face in high-level play. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Sprout, Byron, Crow, Leon, and Squeak. S+ tier is where the absolute legends live, the brawlers that make you sweat the moment they appear on the battlefield. These are the characters that can single-handedly change the outcome of a match, and honestly, facing them feels unfair. Let's break down the elite squad. Byron is the ultimate mix of support and threat. His normal attack heals allies while simultaneously dealing damage over time to enemies. And because it can reach faraway teammates or opponents, he controls fights from a safe distance. Right now, he is widely considered the best healer in the game, making him both a lifesaver and a nightmare depending on which side you are on. Crow is pure speed and poison. With his insanely fast movement, he zips in and out of combat effortlessly. Both his normal attack and super inflict damage over time while reducing healing on enemies, making him brutal against healers. When his super is ready, Crow can dive, hit multiple targets, and escape before anyone even knows what happened. Leon is the ultimate hunter. His fast movement lets him chase almost any brawler across the map. His super can save him from bad situations or let him hunt down low-health enemies with terrifying efficiency. Essentially, if Leon spots you at half health, it is already too late. He's sneaky, deadly, and extremely hard to pin down. Squeak and Sprout round out the elite. Squeak's attacks stick to enemies and explode for area of effect damage, hitting even those hiding behind cover. He thrives in chaotic fights, taking on multiple opponents at once. Sprout, on the other hand, throws attacks that bounce off walls and can go over obstacles, while his super blocks enemy paths and controls zones effectively. Both of them excel at map control, forcing opponents to play on their terms. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.